Why are these people calling me out on YouTube to do a halfway to Halloween video? I haven't stopped doing Halloween since last Halloween. Got a whole bunch of stuff to do, and I'm being called out to do a video. It's not halfway to Halloween. Halloween hasn't even ended. But here we are. Let's do a pound sign halfway to Halloween challenge. Alright guys, so I was tagged by Jamie from New England Haunter on YouTube. Check him out. He's a newer up-and-coming YouTuber. He's only been on YouTube for probably about a year. Started following me. He sent me an email, tagged me in this, really wanted me to do it. Plus also Cobwebs and Candlesticks wanted me to do this crazy shit. So here I am doing this video. It's kind of interesting to hear some of these answers from a couple of the videos that I've seen. So let's get into it. Number 1, are you a fan of haunted houses? No, absolutely not. I hate them. They're scary. I want to hide in my basement. Just kidding. I absolutely love haunted houses. I loved them growing up. When I was a kid, me and my dad used to go to like the backyard haunted houses. They were more like hay rides, stuff like that. Just in people's backyards. I don't know. That doesn't really happen so much anymore. At least that I know of. Even though I'm in the industry, I don't see it too much. But that was, there's still bits and pieces of those nights when we went to some of those haunts that still stick with me to this day. And now that I'm older, I understand how some of the gimmicks were done. But it was still those pieces and gimmicks that they did in the haunt have stuck with me my entire adult life. So, yes, I absolutely love haunts. I had my own yard haunt growing up, and it just blossomed my love for haunting and haunts altogether. In 2021, I started working at Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, which is my local professional haunted house. This will be my 5th season there, and I couldn't imagine myself being anywhere else. I absolutely love it. It's just like I said, it's a slaughterhouse theme. I get to play a deranged inbred grandpa that's like Texas Chainsaw, Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn, kind of all mixed together. I absolutely love it there. You just really get to be your kind of crazy, kooky self. It's not a cookie cutter thing. I enjoy it. You get to open up and kind of just say unhinged things that you can't normally say in public. So I love it. I love haunted houses. I try to attend as many as I can, but like I said, with me working at the haunt, I don't get to go and experience as many as I used to. Another big one that I used to go to every year with a whole group of my friends was the Haunted Hoochie in Pataskala, Ohio, down by Columbus. And that is, if you've never heard of it, look it up. If you love haunts and you love in-your-face, just unhinged, unfiltered, anything goes. And that place is incredible. It's definitely a top-tier haunt, so check it out. But I love the Hoochie. And I love Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse. Nightmare Cleveland is also a great one. So if you're in Ohio, check any of those out. Ohio is the haunt capital of the United States. So there's plenty to see. But like I said, I don't get to go out and experience a lot of them. So part of that with me working at the haunted house kind of sucks because I don't get to experience the time of year that I love so much. That was number 1. Oh, look at that. I'm stupid and missed a page. Number 2. What's your favorite ghost story or haunted lore? So my favorite ghost story, I don't know if it's a favorite, but it's not really like a story, but it's something that happened to me. So one day we were at the haunt. There was only three of us there, and we were the only three on the property. We were walking around the building, and when you get there, there's a main garage door, and it opens up straight down the entire hallway. And there's just like flaps hanging in the way. And during the off season and stuff, we have them all hinged up with, clamps, so you can see straight down the hallway. And during showtime, we close them so you don't see through the hallway. And we were walking through, and we just happened to cut across that hallway, and you could see straight out to the parking lot, or not the parking lot, but the driveway. And we just happened to look over, and two of us saw it. I looked over, and I'm walking through, we're kind of boogieing through, and we cross there, and I stop. And then my friend Mike stops. And then we kind of look back at each other and look over, and I'm like, what was that? And our friend TJ comes around the corner, and he's like, what are you guys doing? We're like, dude, there's somebody out front. And I'm like, I looked at Mike, I'm like, did you see that? He goes, yeah, definitely, there's somebody definitely up there. And so we all mosey on up there and walking around, walked to the other barns. We walked up into the queue line area, walked around the corner of the building. There was absolutely nobody on the property. We were the only three people there. But two of us definitely saw something. TJ was just a little bit ahead of us, so he didn't see it. But definitely that was kind of like my craziest, like, what the hell moment. But then there's also, stuff in the haunt. There's times where you feel people watching you, and it's certain rooms kind of give you the heebie-jeebies, but because the building is haunted. It is legit. It is haunted. Somebody was, killed in there and murdered in cold blood. But you definitely get some crazy stuff. But as far as lore and stuff like that, I'd have to say, Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman. I really love that stuff. I love, just for Halloween purposes and stuff like that, it's just, I love that theme and that vibe. Just that, the Headless Horseman and the pumpkins and just all that stuff. I'd love to go to Salem, Massachusetts, like where all this stuff like kind of went down, and really check that out and see the experience that you get up there for, Halloween. So we got that. Number 2. Number 3, do you plan on Halloween decor hunting? Yes. Yes, I do. Probably not as much as normal this year, just because I'm going to be super busy. But I don't plan on going like to Spirit Halloween a ton this year. I don't really feel like going to Lowe's. I mean, I'll still go and check it out just because I like to see the Code Orange and kind of see everything in person, because you get to see it all throughout, on Facebook and YouTube, and seeing every Tom, Dick, and Harry doing a damn video about it and beating a dead horse to death. But I don't really plan on doing a whole lot of it, but I will. My huge shopping spree was at Transworld, so I bought a lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff to use and make projects with. I'm kind of with the rest of these guys on this stuff. I'd rather see built, not bought. I know, and I do a lot of both. I build a lot of stuff to make and then sell it. But when it comes to my own personal stuff, I'm pretty much buying it rather than making it, even though, like, the stuff I make is far too graphic and too gory to be in my front yard. I'm also right next door to a church, so we all got to kind of keep that in mind. But I could tone it down and not do bloody and gory, but that's kind of my thing. So to not do it would kind of suck. So I do buy a lot of store-bought stuff. However, I am trying to offload a lot of it next weekend. So yes, I will be decor hunting, but probably not as hardcore as I have in the past years. I'll probably buy an animatronic or two just to try and replace some of the stuff in the front yard this year. Some stuff did break. Some stuff I tossed 2 of them that I had out there last year. So I need 2 more to kind of replace those, but we'll see. Number 4, candy corn, hate it or love it. I really don't care for it. I don't hate it. I don't really care for it though. I'm just not a huge fan. I mean, I'm kind of going to go with Keith, Cobwebs and Candlesticks here on this one and say maybe a handful for the season, and that's about it. I'm more of a apple cider and donuts kind of guy, so I would rather, have that than candy corn. I could go all season and not have candy corn. But, however, if you throw me them Reese's Pumpkins, oh, I'll love you forever. Number 5, are you big into costumes or dressing up for Halloween, and what's your favorite costume? So, if this is a personal question, so again, I don't remember who originally did these videos and how these questions were originally asked. So if this is a personal, if I dress up or do stuff like that for Halloween, for my trick or treat and stuff like that, I normally don't. My first few years I did. I was in character. I did wear masks, and everyone that helped me out then did as well. Now I don't. I kind of just, wear my normal hoodie representing for the haunt. Stand out there like a normal Joe Schmo, and I have remotes and stuff in my hoodie pocket, just kind of controlling and watching over, my yard. But as far as like, if it's kids coming to the house for trick-or-treat wearing costumes, yes, I would love to see you in costume. When you're coming up to the house, I'm not going to kick you away until you get the hell off my property if you're not wearing a costume. I'm coming to steal all my candy bars, but I would prefer you wore a costume. I mean, get in the spirit. Jesus, I mean, this is Halloween. Wear a costume. I don't care. Make yourself a sheet ghost. Mom doesn't want to spend $40 on a costume. Get a sheet. Be a ghost. Make it cheap. That's what we used to do when we were kids. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really dress up, like I said, anymore. I mean, I guess I do, but not at my house for my yard haunt for trick-or-treat. But what's my favorite costume? I'm going to have to go with my character at the haunted house, man. I dress up as Grandpa Carver. I've been playing that role for 2 years now, and that's what I'm dressed as on Halloween, every Halloween for the past 2 years. So beyond that, I've been just some deranged character in the woods or whatever else, wherever I was needed before that. But now that I'm the main character there, I dress up as Grandpa Carver. So I play Grandpa in the show, and I do that, and it's fun for me. I love it. I get to be this deranged old inbred redneck old man, and you get to say the most unhinged crazy stuff that comes to your mind, and my best friend plays Grandma Carver, so you get to have a lot of fun with that because you get a lot of material you can bounce off each other, and it's pretty much no holds barred, and there's no holding back. Number 6, what is one activity or experience that is on your spooky season bucket list? This year I got to cross off a really big one. I guess it's not really spooky season-ish, but it had everything to do with it. This year we got to go to Transworld. That was an amazing experience, something I've been wanting to do for the past couple years, considering I am in the haunt industry. I've been working there for a while, working within it, learning the ropes of all kinds of different stuff there. Now I'm vending within it. That was top tier bucket list thing, and I finally got to accomplish that. Next step is vending at Transworld. We're looking into that. I don't know if I will have enough stuff to make it happen for 26. I know 26 was the goal. And it's still kind of the goal. I just don't know if it's going to happen. But I would love, it's not going to happen this year, But one of these years, I would love to go to Salem, Massachusetts, and check it out, see everything during spooky season. I would also love to get out to Hell's Gate Haunted House. I would love to see Haunted Overload. I'd love to get out there and go see some of these other haunts and check out what they do and see the show and just how beautiful like all these haunts are done up. But other than that, I would just rather just kick it by a fire and enjoy the fall weather. I mean, I love fall. I'm a fall baby. I was born in the fall, the first day of fall, actually. So I guess I just naturally love fall. I don't know. It's my favorite time of year. I love the weather. I love being able to smell people having campfires outside, and you get to smell the fire, and you're smelling the fall leaves and just the smell of nature outside. I don't know. It just smells eerie and spooky, and, it gets chillier at night. So it just has the natural fog, and I'd rather just kind of kick back and do that and just drink the hell out of apple cider and shit my brains out the next morning. But, I love it. That cider donuts and pumpkin spice everything. I love pumpkin this, pumpkin that. So, yeah, other than that, I don't really have any haunt or spooky bucket list things this year. I mean, I got to go to Transworld. That was the big one for me. Number 7, what book series or movie screams Halloween? For me, I would say for my generation at least, would be, the movies on TV was the Are You Afraid of the Dark? And book series, I can't think of the name right now, but it was always the ones with the scary monsters on the front, and damn, I can't remember the name of it. I remembered it before I filmed this. Now I can't remember it. I should have jotted that down here. But yeah, that would be that series of books. I can't think of the name of it right now, though. That is totally drawing a blank. The OG Halloween movie screams Halloween to me. And also Hocus Pocus. I love sitting here every year with the kids and watching Hocus Pocus. I loved Hocus Pocus as a kid growing up. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All those Saw movies. I like those. Those don't really scream Halloween, but that's just kind of the blood and gore that kind of goes along with Halloween. But I would say, your OG Halloween movies, you got to squeeze a Texas Chainsaw in there just because. But I would say Hocus Pocus for sure. I know my wife loves watching Halloween Town. I don't really care for that, but that's her big one. But this isn't about her. It's about me. So Hocus Pocus. Number 8, how do you typically spend Halloween night? Well, we kind of went over this already. Halloween night, I'm with all my friends and my secondary haunt family. If Halloween falls on a night that we're open, we are there. So usually if it falls on a Friday or Saturday night, we are there. I think last year it wasn't, I can't remember. But the one year it did fall on a Sunday, and we ended up working that Sunday, so we worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That was awful, and after that, we decided no more of that. So now, if it falls on a Friday or Saturday, we are open, and we're gonna, do that. So that's how I spend my Halloween. If not, normally, my trick-or-treat always happens the week before Halloween, unless Halloween falls on a Sunday. So my trick-or-treats are always on Sunday. So if trick-or-treat falls on a Sunday, then they'll do it on a Sunday. So yeah, normally I'm just, we usually, if I'm home and, nothing's going on, we usually just, watch spooky movies and listen to the animatronics going off out front and stuff like that. And, just sit around the house. We don't really go do much on Halloween night. Number 9. What does Halloween mean to you? Well, I would say tradition and creativity. Let's go with that. Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. I think everyone's love for Halloween came from somebody else's love of Halloween. At least for me. Um, my grandparents always decorated up for Halloween. Nothing like nothing like I do, but they decorated. Parents did. Like I said, my dad would take me to haunts and stuff like that, and haunted hay rides and trick or treats, and I just remember running around as a kid and just loving running around at night. You had your pillowcase and your buckets and stuff like that, going to multiple cities and towns for trick or treats, hitting every single one that we could, multiple days. And so I would say, because of them pushing it, and not so much pushing it onto you, but yeah, I think it all stems from somebody else. They kind of implant that bug into you, and like when I was a kid, so I went to haunts with my dad, and then I started decorating my house, and me and the neighborhood kids, and we would dress up and decorate and make DIY props. We made everything because Spirit Halloween, it existed. No, did it? It existed, I think, but they weren't really kicking out animatronics. There was nothing like this when I was decorating. These things didn't exist then, and if they did, they weren't as commercially pushed as they are now. We didn't have any animatronics. We had smoke machines, and I remember trying to save up and bug my dad. Dad, please get me this fog machine. Please help. Like, what do I got to do? So he helped me get situated. So over winter, I shoveled snow and made a whole bunch of money. We made money for fog machines and Halloween stuff. And there used to be this in town, a town over from us. It was a Halloween costume shop, and we went there, and they had everything you could think of. The legs and the arms and masks galore, and Don Post Studio stuff. And I'm so pissed that a friend of mine ripped it, and it got moldy and nasty. But I had one of the, I would say it was early 2000s Don Post Studios Michael Myers mask, and I'm so pissed I don't have it anymore because that's a very, very valuable mask nowadays. But I just loved Michael Myers. I loved Halloween, and to save up, my dad bought me that as a gift, and I cherished that thing. That was, it was a very expensive mask. I know he paid good money for it then, which now it was probably $150 mask nowadays or so, maybe more, with inflation and everything. But I know he paid good money for it, and I just absolutely love that mask. And so it's just kind of little things like that that really instilled that little spooky bug in me. And then I got away from it. We moved. The town I moved into didn't really have trick or treat. Kids trick or treated, but it wasn't like it was before. We had lights set up, and trick or treat was during the nighttime, and the first hour was kind of at dusk, and then the rest of the time was at night. So we'd have strobe lights set up and all kinds of other lights. And I wish my setup now would be in the dark. And I wish I had the adult money then to do stuff. My yard was a little bit better, not bigger. I do a heck of a lot bigger display now than I did then, but it was just more fun. You had your friends there with you and all that. And then from there, I moved out on my own. my grandfather passed away, and I moved out. And then I got rid of everything that was left in that house. I said, just get rid of it. Because we weren't decorating anyway. It was just all sitting in totes, just kind of rotting away. After a while, latex goes bad. Stuff was getting gross, so we threw away a lot. We sold a lot on Facebook Marketplace. And then eventually they actually brought some back a couple years ago. I didn't know they still had a huge box of stuff. And my fog machine that me and my dad saved up for a long time ago was still in that box. But it no longer worked, so I threw it away. But it was one with the skull on the front of it. It was a Walmart, but yeah, so I tried to take care of everything as best as I could when I was younger. But sometimes when stuff sits for 10 years, it's just no good. But I moved here in like 2017. We bought this house, and we did trick or treat. I don't remember trick or treat in 2018. Maybe a little bit. I remember. Maybe it got me started because the neighbors down the street really did a huge deal. And then I decorated a little bit in 2019. Just little stupid glow-in-the-dark spiders and cobwebs. There's videos on my channel of the uprising of everything throughout the years. And my oldest daughter walks up one night. I remember we just got done trick-or-treating, and our house is 12 houses down from the neighbor up the street. And she comes home, and we're walking down towards like the garage, and she goes, "Dad, I want our house to be cooler than theirs next year." And I was like, all right, noted, mission accepted, let's go. So I bought a ton of stuff, and I said to myself, and especially in some of these old videos, I said, if I can't beat them with money and props, I'll beat them with DIY stuff. And it was always kind of that friendly banter back and forth that was like friendly competition. It was really never a competition, but to me it was, just because they had so much stuff and they were always getting all the attention. And I was like, you know what? We too can play this game. So my first year was kind of awful. My second year was a little better. Spent a little bit of money at Spirit Halloween. Caught some of the half off sale. We bought broken animatronics and stuff like that just to kind of fill voids in the yard. And then it's slowly progressed throughout that. But and then so to tie back, is your Halloween always comes from somebody else. So I got away from Halloween for so long until that day when my daughter said, "Dad, I want our house to be cooler than theirs next year." It unlocked all of those childhood memories of decorating my yard. And it was just like a boom, all these like schematics going off in my head, like blueprints running through. And I'm like thinking all of what we can design in the front yard. So I'm like, now I'm playing with adult money. Like now we can really go crazy. Like what can we do? And then so it's just it sparked that childhood love for haunted houses and everything. And I really wanted to get involved with the haunt that I work at now. And then, fast forward, that was 2019, somewhere in there. And then to 21, I started working at the haunt that I was referring to in a video from 2019. And then we had my youngest daughter, and I've slowly kind of like been bringing her around it. Like I was never trying to push the animatronics onto her, but like I would let her come in the garage and like see some of the stuff in here. And I'd never want her to be afraid of it. That was my biggest thing. I don't want you to be terrified of it, because once you're terrified of it, you're ruined, and that's it. So I'd let her like walk up to it. I wouldn't turn them on. I'd let her walk up to it and show them, hey, nothing's gonna happen. She was just barely walking. Nothing's gonna happen. You're fine. They're just plastic and rubber. Like nothing's gonna happen. And she would mess with them. So then it just became second nature. She sees the guys and is, "Dad, turn that one on." I have all kinds of videos in my phone of her just like waving in front of the motion sensors and trying to turn everything on, and she loves it. Now I get a new one. She's like, Dad, set this thing up. I want to see what it does. Like, what's this one do? What's this say? You know, now it's kind of like I've sparked that love in her. So, like I said at the beginning, that love came from me. So, and, you know, we decorate our house all big. We decorate the inside. You know, my wife does the inside pretty big. I do the outside really big. And, you know, so their love for Halloween came from somebody else. So that, and then, like I said, creativity. There's no wrong. There's no right. There's no wrong. You just create. And the only judge is the internet and assholes on YouTube and Facebook. So in all reality, like, there's no right way or wrong way to really do stuff. Yeah, there's right and wrong materials to use and stuff like that, but you know, I would much rather see people making more things and trying to push themselves to be better artists and creative minds and thinking outside the box, and you know, instead of worrying about having the scariest houses on the block and trying to, you know, regurgitate YouTube videos 8,000 million bazillion times and unboxing same shit every Tom, Dick, and Harry has, which is why I got away from doing it. I would just rather see you build something, even if you took something and repurposed it. I do so much repurposing with my stuff. You know, I do sculpt. I do make my own masks. I sculpt with clay. I get my hands dirty. I make a ton of stuff. And I don't really film it and throw it on my channel just because YouTube hates it because it's bloody and gory. But, you know, just get the creative juices flowing. I mean, there's so many things you could take all these damn things and repurpose them into some other way. But, you know, everyone wants the newest clown and what's this dumb bastard say, and you know, half this stuff, and it breaks in 30 seconds. So that's why my mindset going into buying an animatronic is, will it look cool broken? Because if it just looks like a dipshit standing here, it's going to look like a dipshit standing here broken. So I don't really care how cool it looks when it's working and all that. I want to see how cool the stance and how creepy it looks. That's why I buy That's why I buy what I buy. Like, because it's going to look cool just standing here broken if it breaks. So get out there, make stuff, get your hands dirty, get your pants torn up and bloody and covered in plaster and blood, and get your tarps on the floor and get everything covered up so mom doesn't get pissed off that you got wood glue and fake blood splattered all over her garage floor. Or buy your own house and be your own boss and don't give a shit what people say. So, yeah, that's that. That was a long one. Tag your friends. I gotta tag a few friends that I'd like to see do this video. Number one, Glenn at Roosevelt Hills Cemetery. I would love to hear him ramble on about this as much as I have. This dude creates a lot of really cool stuff. He repurposes a lot of stuff. Has a really kick-ass yard haunt. Makes a lot of really cool stuff for his yard haunt. Has a lot of really good ideas. So don't be afraid to reach out. He's full of knowledge, and super nice guy, willing to help. Next, I'd like to see GM Haunts do one of these. I'd like to hear kind of how he got into this, what what all his stuff is. So GM Haunts, get out there. I know he's out there pushing it hard. He's growing his YouTube channel. He's traveling to Transworld, East Coast Haunters. He's probably going to Midwest Haunters and then turning around and going to Flagship for Spirit Halloween, and probably going to something for Home Depot, and God knows what else the kid's flying around and with his parents doing. But get out there and get your hands dirty as well, kid. Don't be afraid to make some stuff. Make something really cool and put it in your room instead of all this crap. You want some of this? I'll give it to you. Steve's Haunted Yard. I know Cobwebs tagged him, but Steve, I'd love to see Steve do one of these as well, because Steve is really what kind of fired up my YouTube journey. And you know, I got on YouTube back, you know, when I was a kid doing this stuff. YouTube didn't exist. YouTube was not a thing. So a lot of these kids that are running around 13, 14, 15 years old with YouTube channels and making paychecks off of it was not heard of when I was doing it. So that really dates me. Makes me feel old because YouTube didn't exist. That didn't come around until I think, 2005, I think YouTube was founded or something like that. But anyway, YouTube wasn't around. So I really got into watching YouTube, and when it came about, I was always into haunts and Halloween. I loved seeing people decorate. And once I got in, you know, and I didn't even decorate here, but I'd still watch people decorate their yard. And Steve always did the coolest shit. Like, he had his cemetery gates and his pillars that he always made, and how he decked out his old house and everything. And then there were so many people building backyard haunted houses, and just to see what went into this stuff, and it was incredible to see how much work these people were putting in to make a freaking haunt in their yard. Was incredible. So Steve, OG haunter, definitely a super nice guy. Tons of knowledge. Well, he's a wealth of knowledge. Great dude. Would love to see him. And he actually subscribed to my channel, which was like a holy shit moment for me, because Steve's Haunted Yard, one of the guys that got me on YouTube and has been a massive piece to this puzzle for me and in my journey in haunting. And I was a massive subscriber to him and follower, and loved watching what he was doing. I seen he subscribed to my channel one day, and I was like, no way. You know, it finally came full circle. So Steve, do a video. Be awesome. And yeah, man, follow these other guys: Roosevelt Hills, GM Haunts, Steve's Haunted Yard. Get out there, make stuff, guys. Have fun, enjoy it, be creative. Travel around, meet people, go to shows. When you go to a show, meet somebody, ask them about their prop, their process, or whatever. Just talk to them, you know, how they got started, whatever, rather than shoving a camera in their damn face. Just have conversations. Well, there are people too at these shows. There are people too. They're there, and you know, some of them want to talk to you, some of them don't want to talk to you, but they're there to make money and sell you items, and they all are a wealth of knowledge at these shows. So get out there, talk to these, make some friends in the industry rather than focusing on just YouTube. I'm focusing more on that myself, which is why I'm kind of taking a hiatus from YouTube. There's more opportunities and doors opening from doing what I'm doing outside of YouTube and focusing on these props and stuff that I'm making. Way more opportunities coming from there than there is YouTube, and there's way more revenue coming from there as well. So, yeah, get out there. Maybe I'll see you at Transworld next year, either as an attendee or a vendor. I haven't decided yet. And I'd love to get out to MHC, but if you got any local shows, go hit your local shows. Hit oddity shows. Go check out something. See how people are making things. Go home and try and make it yourself. Get out there and get your hands dirty and make stuff. And Jamie, thanks for asking me to do this. It was kind of fun. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all for watching. And get out there and go make some stuff. You look like a lady. Yeah.